one and all. Welcome to Slapendipity, Hobos of Happy Slappy Town. I am Eric, who you may call Eric. And with me is Devin, who you may call Gibby.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to year 2 of Slapendipity.
Whoa.
Hobos moving up in the world.
I mean, I think it's like a lateral move.
Hobos moving through time in the world, which is...
There we go.
We do live under the Anywen Bridge, so I guess it's whenever it is, so it doesn't really matter.
I feel like this could get complicated.
I don't understand how time works. A lot of people, I think, have stupid opinions on time. By which I mean, if you think that, like, all time's already happened, man, time's not linear, it's all real, that's stupid. But then if you think that time is strictly linear, where it just goes forward a second at a time, then you're dumb because we know that's not how it works. And so the answer is that it's something in the middle of those.
I mean, it could be the first one, you just don't like it.
Yeah, no, it's stupid. It's dumb. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense to you, because you're a four-dimensional being or whatever. 3 dimensions? I don't know.
We
Look at those fifth-dimensional beings. They got it figured out.
They're the ones who built the Anywen Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, it needs to be in 3 dimensions so it can cross the river, 4 dimensions so that it can go through time. And then we don't understand the 5th dimension, but it's there. Maybe one day we'll figure it out.
Maybe one day.
What's your opinion on bridges?
Bridges are cool. I don't like to drive over them.
Yes.
Because what if the bridge collapses and then we all fall and there's the water?
Yes.
Because bridges are built over water. So then, like, the car falls into the water, you get, like, banged around, and then you start to drown. It's just like iRobot.
What a timely reference to the early 2000s film iRobot with Will Smith, in which a car goes in the water, and Will Smith is like, "Robot, save the child in the car." But the robot saves Will Smith instead. And he's like, "I told you to save the child." And the robot was like, "There was a higher percent chance of me saving you than saving the child, and thus I have saved you and not the child." And then Will Smith hates robots.
Yeah. And you see that little girl trapped in the car just sink into the abyss.
Have you seen...
It's messed up.
Have you seen the Mythbusters episode about if your car goes in the water?
I have not.
Okay, very, very important information. If your car is being submerged in the water, if it's like half in, then the water is going to start filling in through all the cracks in like the door and the floor and stuff. So the car is going to start slowly filling with water. Right?
Okay.
So like the car can be underwater, but still have air in it. Because it's not airtight, but it's also not open. Okay, so if your car is submerging in water, and you try to open the door, it's going to be like literally impossible.
Right.
Because it's an air bubble. So what you do is you get to the highest point in the car, and you take deep, calming breaths, and as the car fills with water, you wait until it's totally full, and then you can just open the door like normal. So you just stay calm, and you take breaths, and right before the air is about to be gone, you take a deep breath, and then you open the door, and then you just swim to safety.
Wow.
Yeah, very important car in water. It's like stop, drop, and roll if you're on fire, in quicksand. Like, you just stay still and try to, like, increase your surface area or whatever. Yeah, if your car's underwater, you open the door. I'm also scared of bridges over water. When I was a child, I, like, had to, like, close my eyes and, like, look between my knees. Like, I could not function. And my dad asked, "Why are you scared of bridges over water, but not bridges over land?" And I didn't know. And so then he's like, "Well, you're stupid." I'm like, "Oh." But, like, am I, though?
So mean.
Am I, though? So, yeah, you mentioned the same thing. You said the bridge over water was scarier, but, like, I don't know why.
Well, because it's water and the abyss and the unknown, etc. I mean, bridges over land are still... It depends how tall they are, right? If it's just, like, 3 feet, it's like, whatever. But if it's like 20 feet in the air, like, no.
I think that, like...
I don't care if it's overland. That's still the idea of I am on a bridge collapses, I fall more than 3 feet in a car. Terrifying.
I think for me, the issue was always more like when you look out over a body of water, you can see so far, and because like water is like uniform, it's just like a plane of water. There's nothing to really look at, and so it just seems big. Whereas if you're a bridge over land, you look down and you're like, oh, look, trees. I understand trees. Oh, look, a bench. I understand bench. And so it just doesn't seem as high.
Do you understand tree?
I understand
Could you
tree.
Paint with all the colors of the wind? If we got a sycamore tree down?
I recognize those words. I don't remember. We did a bit about this once. Yes, that.
I think we did.
We totally did a bit about this.
As I was saying it, I was like, oh no.
Maybe it was in the future, and so that's why I don't remember it. It was any when.
So true. So true, bestie.
What's your elevator opinion?
Elevators are fine. The cable could snap at any moment and you would be sent hurtling down to your death. But they're fine.
Well, I mean, if it's only a few story building, I don't think you'd die, but yeah.
I don't know.
What about those like glass elevators where you're like you can see out?
I've never okay. I have been in one actually, but only the one. But it was a like it was like a diagonal elevator. It wasn't like straight up and down.
Okay.
So you could see like the other, like we were going in the up elevator, so you could look out and see the down elevator, and it was underground, so there wasn't a ton to like look at. You could see where you came from, and you could see where you're going. But it was just mostly brick and...
You've never been in one of them in like a mall that only goes up like 3 stories, but it's like those big tube ones straight up in a mall?
If I did, I was like 10, and I don't remember.
What about the ones on the outside of buildings? I guess the answer is no.
No, okay. Yeah.
I've been in the big glass tube mall ones, and like I don't like it. I don't know what makes it worse. I guess that when I'm in a normal elevator, I can just pretend that I'm not. That's just a magic door that opens to a different place. But when I can see myself lifting up and down, I'm like, oh, this is scary. Don't like that.
Well, you're also like an animal at the zoo. You become encaged in the small confines, and people just stare at you going up and down. Going, oh, look at the people in the elevator.
So... I went to Memphis recently, as you know, and as our listeners know.
Yeah.
And so I flew there, and then my friend picked me up, and then like we parked in a parking garage, and then we're taking the elevator down to the street level to go visit Beale Street, and we're just kind of like waiting in the elevator. And I think that elevators as liminal spaces, as spaces that you only temporarily occupy to like go to facilitate you doing something else, are very apt to be a reflective space. Because, like, there's nothing to do when you're in an elevator. You're just standing there.
But you're only in an elevator for, like, a minute tops. How are you... That I just would...
Like, short
reflective. It's
reflective.
too short of a time to be like, wow, the problem with myself is because I was inflated by...
Whoa. Let's not.
You know, that's
let's not go
not
there. Let's not go there.
That happens. Like, I go into an elevator and I go, this is nice music. Yeah.
I find it interesting.
And then the door opens.
I find it interesting that I said reflection and you immediately went to self-criticism as opposed to just thinking. So me and friend.
Well, no.
Me and friend get in an elevator, and he goes like, he was like, it's so weird thinking about all of the things that had to happen for me and you to both be in this elevator together right now.
Okay.
Like, do you agree that's an interesting thought? So like me and him met here. He is I'm really bad at math. 7 years younger than us. So like we never would have met at school. We never would have met at like a community thing. We met at a job. Okay, so the job had to post a job listing. We both had to answer the job listing. We both had to get the job. We both had to work similar shifts. We both had to have enough interests in common to become friends. We had to maintain contact and friendship after leaving the job for long enough that it was reasonable for like me to go visit him at college. It had to be that like he went to that college in, that state. It had to be that I then decided to fly down there, right? The chances, like the circumstances that led to me and him being in an elevator in Memphis when we're both New Jersey boys is just like very, it's like, oh wow, how did we get here? How crazy.
I mean, I guess so. Part of me is just like, that's just life. That's just jobs.
Yeah, but it's a moment of self-reflection because the elevator doors closed.
Sure. Sure. You never think stuff like that when you're just walking out and about.
Exactly. It's an elevator thought. Speaking of elevator thoughts...
No, that was a question.
Speaking of elevator thoughts...
Oh my gosh.
So the elevator had some glass, like, doors. And so, watching... Like, we were, like, behind another group. Basically, we got off the elevator, and they got on the elevator, and then they started going up. And the girls were wearing, like, pretty short skirts. And so the elevator just rises up, and then you can just see under their skirts, and they start trying to cover themselves. And me and my friend are just like, that's probably a really bad design for an elevator.
And like the gentleman you are,
we
looked at the floor the entire time.
Look. We absolutely did not look. We noticed it was happening, and it was like, oh, that's... When you go out in your short skirt, you don't think about the fact that you might have to go up a glass elevator at some point.
Yeah. Well, those glass elevators were probably designed by people that wear pants, the bastards.
I know that you do roller coasters and stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of roller coasters in Japan. So like, I don't know. I think, and I'm like,
let's not place money.
What was it?
What? I said let's not place money. Anyway.
You don't think you're gonna go on roller coasters in Japan?
I don't know if we'll have tickets.
To Disney?
That's another thing. Though.
What?
Anyway.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. The difference between like a bridge over water and a roller coaster, it's just like, I guess it's context, right? One of them's scary, one of them's fun. I don't know.
No, yeah, I guess. I think, like, when I go on the roller coaster, I still have thoughts of, like, well, this cart could just fall off the rails and I could die upside down trapped in the cart. Or fly off because it, like, finishes a loop and it goes off the rails and I fly into the horizon.
Yeah, but I've never gotten off a bridge and went, again, let's go over the bridge again.
Well, yeah, I mean, a bridge is basically a tool. A roller coaster is an attraction. They have different purposes.
Yeah, it's a context, I guess. Okay,
but
do you have any more thoughts on things that go up and down and that are tall, like bridges and elevators and roller coasters?
So one of the things you'll see in Japan, which will be kind of curious, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a few years since I was there. We can go in a tower where this floor is glass.
Oh boy.
How do you feel about that? Of like, you look down and you're like, I don't know, 30 stories up. And then you look under your feet and you see everything. The world.
I would say we should go, and I'll decide in the moment if I'm going to stand there.
We'll get you to stand there.
Okay, spooky.
Spooky, scary skeletons. Um, do I have any other up downs? Escalators are fine.
Yeah, but there are no glass
I feel
escalators.
like it's... Well, no, but escalators also don't have you trapped.
True.
Like, they're completely open. They have guardrails, but... And then I guess if they just stop working, they just turn into stairs.
Yes. Have you ever been at the top of a really, really, really tall staircase that you got, like, vertigo?
No.
Like a train station or subway station or a hotel or a convention hall where you're just like, wow, that's a lot of stairs.
No, I don't think I've ever experienced vertigo.
Oh, really?
I think so.
What about even, like, walking on, like, a bridge? Being at a skyscraper? Nothing?
No. I mean, I'll be spooked about it maybe, but I'm never, like, I don't have the
You don't get the dizzy?
The dizzy.
Oh, okay. We'll have to change that.
I don't think it's a thing that can be changed. I mean, maybe it can. I think it's just I don't know.
We'll just have to get you really, really, really high up in the air.
I've been really high in the air. I've been in planes. I've been in skyscrapers.
I don't know why, but it doesn't really feel like planes for me. I don't know. We'll see when we're in Tokyo.
Let's not forget, one of my hobbies is to climb things and get really high. And then go down.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any other comments on tall things?
Do you think if we got, like, a 6'5" guy or woman or okay, wait. I was thinking of something and I got something even better. If we got an elephant and you had to climb it, do you think that would be scary? Like, let's say it's one of those elephants that are, like, trained to be ridden. Do you think you'd freak out because you're, like, riding an elephant?
No.
Because you're so high up, but then also it's, like, not a wild animal because it would have been trained, but, like, I don't know, that it's not a bridge, but, like...
I've ridden horses. Have you ridden horses?
No.
You've never ridden a horse?
No, why have you?
I've ridden horses before. A lot. Not a lot, but like multiple instances, multiple occasions. I went to a dude ranch for a week once when I was younger. Rode horses every day. Well, that's interesting. No. I know people who like will go like they're in Africa, they ride camels and elephants. You never ridden anything like that?
Nope.
Oh. Okay, we'll have to get you on an elephant at some point.
I'm fine. Elephants are cool.
Elephants are cool. We have a question here from Sophie.
Oh, okay.
I unjammed it from the egg carton mailbox that we have.
Oh, so you don't like the new mailbox. I got you. Okay.
No, these are from last week. This is from May 5th. Not May 5th. Oh my gosh. No, I'm stupid. Okay, listen. She wrote it in European style. She wrote 5-2. I'm like, oh, May 2nd. I'm like, no, that can't be right. February 5th. She's weird because she's English.
What if... No, Devin, I think you're forgetting this is the Anyone Bridge.
Maybe it is for May 2nd then.
Okay.
So this is from a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Basically asking... if you could give someone studying advice, what would it be? Specifically, like your past self, like for college.
I don't know. Do you have anything right away? I need to think on this.
So I know the things that didn't work for me would have been like, I would say, and I just wouldn't do this because discipline, but just like don't have my phone anywhere near me. And, like, it's better to, like, if I'm in, like, the library, then have music on. If I'm in my dorm room, do not have music on. Because it's distracting if you can study, but it's good at blocking out white noise. It's becoming white noise, blocking out distracting noises if you're in public. But But yeah, also like the kind of, I don't know, like for me studying was always like either reading or memorizing. I took a phonetics class and had to memorize the phonetic alphabet, which is like all the different sounds, because obviously like we have more sounds than we do letters. So there's the like international phonetic standard for making sounds, and like diphthongs and monothongs and other things. And so I had to memorize all the sounds in the phonetic alphabet. Are you familiar with the phonetic alphabet?
Nope.
Like at all? Like if you look up
Nope.
a word in the dictionary and it has like a weird like slash and then like a weird combination of letters underneath, like FT or like peefed.
No.
All right, think of a word. Think of any word. Give me a word.
Uh, uh, wood.
Wood. All right, so if you Google wood and you go to the dictionary, you'll see wood, and then underneath it, it says W, U with an umlaut, not an umlaut, but like a little dot line, D. So the phonetic spelling of wood is W-U-D.
I see. Okay, I am vaguely aware of this then.
Okay, so this is the phonetic alphabet. Basically, each of those letters make the same sound across all languages. Like the W in the phonetic alphabet is the same W in all alphabets, and it might not be the same as a W in English. And so that's how, if you know how to pronounce that, then you can pronounce any word as long as you have the phonetic spelling in front of you. So I had to learn this. And in order to learn this, I basically made an alphabet song out of the phonetic alphabet. So like the O sound for vowels, right? Like the ah in chop. Ah.
Right.
So I made the alphabet, and it went like chop, ball, string, thing, wake, flag, flume, boy, buzz, wish, thing, the vision. I'm not gonna remember all of it, but basically for each sound alphabetically made a word that stood out, that sound. So like the z in vision was like a hard one. So I made this, I think there's like 30 to 40 of these sounds in the phonetic alphabet. And so I made a song, and I recorded myself singing the song, and it's like 40 seconds long, and I put it on loop, and I listened to it for 3 days straight, including going to sleep.
Wow.
So in my sleep, in my dreams, all night, in my voice, I'm going, wake, flag, thing, wake, flag, foom, voice, thing, the, wisp, buzz, mish, vision, happy, chop, pumpkin, ring, and it just like, I don't know.
It goes on.
And it goes on, and those are also probably wrong. But like I still remember part of it from 8 years ago maybe. And so that's how I decided to study that, and it didn't work.
Oh.
I did.
Tragic.
It's not like I failed the test. It's just I was never good at reading it, and I remember like basically I got in there and I got my test, and I just wrote the alphabet in the corner, so I could then use the thing I wrote in the corner to like answer the questions, and I just like didn't get all of it. So yeah, I don't know how to study. I just know that didn't work for me, and that music doesn't work in a dorm room, and that leave your phone on the other side of the room. Those are my tips.
Okay.
What have you thought of in this time?
I don't know, man. So here's my thing. Here's why I struggle with this question. I never studied. I just didn't care. And when I did study, it would be like, you know, when you're in school and they give you the textbooks and it's like, here's the bolded words, and then like, you know, on a random page 75, like this is the mitochondria, and then it has like the little colon, and it's like the mitochondrion is the powerhouse of the cell, and then you just highlight that, and you're like, yeah. And that's all I did, if I ever studied, really, was like, let me just look at the bolded words.
So in middle school, when we had vocab words in the history book, was your studying?
Say again? What?
So like the extent of your studying was memorizing the vocab words in like history class.
Yeah, basically. And even then, it wasn't guaranteed that I would study.
Did you take Spanish or French?
Spanish.
How did you do in Spanish?
Pretty good. I think I got like B's and A's.
Without studying?
Yeah.
They didn't make you like write lines?
What do you mean write lines?
So
like we wrote?
No, like they made us like write. When I was in middle school, at least, it was like writing lines. It was like write, the present, the past participle, whatever of a word, and then you write it like 5 times because there's like 5 forms or whatever, and then you just keep doing that. So like you have to write 20 pairs of 5, so you end up writing the word 100 times, something like that, just like on a piece of paper.
I don't think it was ever that intense, but like, yeah, we did like conjugations and stuff, and like the, for me, the one I remember is, yo soy tu eres, ella usted es nosotros, wait, vosotros? Nosotros.
Both. I remember
those. Well, no, I know, but which one came first in the tree? I think it was Nos Sotros, Vosotros, which we don't use because only Spain uses that. And then ellos, ellas, ustedes son. That was a little song.
I comprehended.
And yeah, I don't know. Yo soy tu eres, ella, usted es, nosotros somos, vosotros sois. Ellos, ellas, ustedes son.
So that would be the equivalent of going like, I, me, he, she, we, us, you. Like that's like the song.
Well, yeah, it's I, me, you, he, she, them.
Wumbo, the study of wombology.
we Spain. And then like many guys, many girls, many thems. Them. Anyway,
what about times tables? You have to do times tables. How'd you memorize your times tables?
I wrote it out.
You didn't study.
That was classwork.
It's 9 times 3.
30.
No.
Fuck. 27.
You give me one.
7 times 8.
It's 48. No. 42, I think. No. I don't know. Wait, okay. 8 times 8 is 64. Minus 8 is 56.
Yay.
Yes. Yeah, okay. So you never had to just sit there and state.
I mean, okay, when I imagine studying, it's like a homework thing. It's not a classwork thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, studying, because if you're in class and you're learning, that is just, you're being taught. But to study is to, like, remind yourself, go over the lessons or whatever by yourself. Or in a group or whatever, I guess. But, like, it's not class time. So I would just pay attention and, like, do everything in class. And then when it came to, like, I did all of my homework, easy peasy. That's how I got good grades. And then if it was like, okay, there's no homework, but except to study because we have a test tomorrow, I would just go, cool, no homework.
My worst classes were always like chemistry and biology, like the non-math sciences. Like, what's the mole of this? I'm like, I don't even remember what that means. What are you talking about? So like those I tried to study, and I didn't learn them, and I did terrible in those classes. It was the worst. Yeah, so that's that.
I think I just relied on my brain to be like, what are the connections here? What sounds familiar? The only classes I like truly did not do well in was like robotics, because I'm not a math person, and it just confused me.
Understandable. Have a great day.
Thank you. But to answer the question, I think I would be kind of boring and say the same thing. Like, just having a dedicated area of, like, this is where I will work/study. This is not for fun. This is with the express purpose of doing whatever task. And then just minimizing any distractions so that you just have to do the thing. Maybe like lo-fi music, if you can. I enjoy lo-fi music just to, like, have beats too.
I've heard that, like lo-fi beats to study, relax to. I don't know what that means, but I know it's a thing. Like the phrase you just said, you might as well have been speaking a different language. You're like, I like lo-fi beats. Nothing appeared in my head. I have no idea what that means.
Not even the girl with the cat in the windowsill as it's raining?
But like I said, I understand. Like, I know the meme, I know the reference. I just don't, like, you could have just said, I listen to Gorble music, and I'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, Gorble, yeah. Love me some Gorble.
Are you saying you haven't listened to Gorble music, Devin?
I have literally no comprehension of what lo-fi means.
Lo-fi is just like, I think it's like low environment. So, like, whatever the scene is, like, you can, or the song, like, you can hear the rain. You can hear, it's not like a professionally recorded studio. You, like, hear the frogs, you hear the wind, you hear the rain.
When I think music, I think about all the frogs.
That's the point, is it's just kind of like, I don't know, not recorded in a booth, I guess. I don't know. Or it's added to it. It is recorded in a booth, and they add the little...
Or most likely it's just
nature
all
sound effects. Sure.
Okay. I guess. I don't understand why that would be gooder for studying.
I don't know. I don't know if it's gooder, per se. I think it's the same logic as background music in a video game. Like, you don't want lyrics in what you listen to, because then you'll think about the lyrics. You want just, like, noise. Which is why video games have background music, so that you can help focus on your thing and, like, create the atmosphere and so forth and so on.
Okay, and then there's amazing games like The World Ends With You, where the background music does have lyrics, and it's amazing.
Wow. But, yeah, study in a dedicated, minimized distraction zone. And I think part of the thing as well is to just do it. I think there's a bit of a roadblock with anything that when it's like, oh, I have to do X, right? I have to clean my room. I have to study. I have to
start a YouTube channel.
Eat. No, you just do it.
Yeah, you just do it.
Which I know is terrible advice, but, like, it's so much bigger in your head. Like, I have found when I'm like, oh, I gotta edit whatever, or I gotta do this, or and then I just sit down and I just start, and I'm just like, wow, this isn't so bad. And then I just usually end up keep doing it until I'm either tired and need a break, or until it's done.
Yeah, it's the shower principle. Is you have to take a shower, and you just don't want to. And you're like, it's stupid, I don't want to go do that, I want to just keep doing what I'm doing. You put it off, and then you get in the shower, and you're like, I will never leave this warm, wonderful place.
See, that's crazy to me, because it's not how I approach showers.
This seems like
I love a shower.
A fairly universal, not like to everyone, but like a fairly wide understood thing, where people are like, I don't want to do the thing, and then you start doing the thing, and you're like, I never want to stop doing the thing.
That's true. Yeah, I think that is true. But I use showers to wake up, so.
You're a morning showerer?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I don't understand.
It makes me not a zombie.
But...
You get the sleep crusties, your skin feels weird because...
Maybe you're getting sleep crusties because you're going to bed dirty.
What? In your eyes?
Oh.
The Sandman visits you.
Okay.
What did you... my skin gets crusty on my forehead.
When I imagine people who shower in the morning, I'm like, okay, so you go out and about, you do, like, stuff all day, and then you get into a bed, you get under covers of, like, filth and germs, like, covered in dirt and grime, and you sleep in that, it's like, yeah, I'd imagine waking up feeling crusty too.
Nah, I have taken night showers and I'll still feel that way. Because you're just in a bed for 8 hours. You're going to feel that way no matter what.
It's lovely. No. Clean sheets, clean self, good sleeps.
Yeah, clean sheets is one thing. But unless you're cleaning your sheets every night, you're gonna get...
Just be clean.
It's gonna be a little...
Just be clean.
But you can only be so clean.
That's deep, man.
Also, I meant to say your bath.
Whoa.
Anyway.
That's crazy. Okay. I have another question.
Okay.
It's not a question at all, actually. It's another email from Sophie.
Oh, I was about to say, that wasn't your question. That was explicitly Sophie's question.
This one's from June 2nd.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
So, it's in reference, we were talking about speed dating, right, after one of our recent events, and talking about, like, like types of humor, I think. I think I said, we were talking about, like, red flags, right? Like the word baby. Or I said, like, oh, like, is teasing important? You know,
sure.
Calling your partner dummy or whatever.
Oh, and like, we both agreed baby as a pet name is bad.
Yes, bad. So, she says, you know, if you're doing speed dating, and you want a go-to deal breaker to see if they will handle or understand your humor. She says her suggestion, well, it's not really a question, but I guess the question would be like, what would be a good, like, go-to, see if they get the humor. But her suggestion is to tell them they have the cutest little nose.
What?
Because
I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah, that's a reference to one of our episodes where we said, Eric, you have the cutest little nose. That was like a thing we were talking about. Remember, I was telling you I was uncomfortable that the girls were like, Devin, you have really nice eyes. I was like, haha, thanks. And the suggestion was, oh, just say like, oh, you have the cutest little nose. It's like, no, let's not do that. See, it's a reference.
I see. I got you. I definitely know our own podcast.
Well, maybe it's an episode from the future. Maybe you're from the past.
True.
Would you ever think of opening a speed dating with a joke to see if you have the same kind of humor?
I don't think so. Mostly because I feel like I can just, like, check the vibes, if you will. And that is sufficient for me. I think there's also a fair amount, like, when you are talking whatever, like, a joke will naturally occur. And then how you guys laugh at that. I went 53 episodes.
Did you just sneeze?
And I've sneezed.
No, you can cut it. It's fine. White rabbit.
White rabbit.
Make the sneeze go away. So you wouldn't... Did you sneeze again?
Yes. I always sneeze in a pair.
I've never heard of pairs of sneezing.
What do you mean? It's the only way to sneeze. I always sneeze in twos.
Okay.
Sometimes when I'm sick, there will be threes, but...
Eric, you have the cutest little sneezes.
Thanks, I hold back when I sneeze.
Maybe that's why you sneeze in twos. I go for the house rattling achoo, just as loud as possible. Get all that sneeze juice out.
But then your spit and snot
Get
goes
all the
everywhere.
sneeze juice out.
If I'm unprepared for a sneeze, I don't want my floor to become a snot palace.
Sneeze juices. Okay. Have you ever sneezed on a date? No.
I haven't, actually.
What was I saying? Knock knock jokes? If you had a go-to knock knock joke for an opening one-liner at a date, is that, if you had a good one, would you use it, or are you on principle against something like that?
I don't think I'm against it in principle, but it'd have to be a banger of a knock knock joke.
Yeah, if right now I was like, Eric, here's the best knock knock joke ever, or the best pun ever, and you're like, that's amazing. Yeah. And I said, okay, use it on a date. Would you be apprehensive, or would you be like, okay?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, yeah. If you were at a speed dating, and you said, hey, I have a joke, And they said, let's hear it. And you said, why did the skeleton come to the speed dating alone?
I don't know. Why did the skeleton come to speed dating alone?
Because he had no body to go with.
Boo.
You don't think that would set the vibe immediately?
It would set a vibe.
A good vibe?
I don't know.
Okay, I've created a chart. I had some help, but it was the chart of puns. And in one, it's a Venn diagram, and there's the groan, like you just said, you booed. And then there's the laugh, like that was really funny. And then there's different sections, like the groan of appreciation, the pity laugh, right? There's a lot of overlap here. And then typically what you do when I say a pun is you just don't respond. And so outside the Venn diagram was labeled the Eric Sea of apathy. So I'm glad that I got you to groan. You're squarely in the groan circle for that one.
Listen, it's not like I'm silent all the time. You just have, on average, worse puns.
Well, hold on.
And worse can be good. Worse can be good.
The point of the pun is the execution.
Okay.
I
don't...
Just like the skeleton.
Okay.
He was executed. Okay. Do you have anything?
Where does a sigh fit into
that's in the groan circle, the Venn diagram.
Okay.
Do you have any other comments for cute little nose, whatever we're talking about, jokes? Because Sophie has a third email.
Okay. I'm gonna say no. I mean, I don't have a joke or a pun that I would feel confident enough to bring up. That also is like part of my humor. I don't know.
Part of my humor is there's no jokes in my humor. You just said that your humor isn't jokes?
No, like, I don't know if I could find a joke to encapsulate my humor.
Just being a silly little guy, you know?
Well, yeah, but how do you make being a silly little guy a joke?
What if you just did the first half of the speed date in a Brooklyn accent, and then halfway through you switch it up and you're like, I'm just gaffing with you. That wasn't my real voice. This is my real voice. You think she'd laugh? Maybe, like, play with her hair a little bit?
I don't know. I feel like that's a real 50-50.
But wouldn't the 50 who appreciate it be more likely to match with you in a long-term successful relationship?
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe. So do you have anything that you would use a joke? No?
I would not do that, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's, in the context of speed dating, I think the first thing you say being a joke is, like, real hit or miss, because there's such obvious, to me, obvious, like, you can see the other person be like, oh my gosh, like, how's your night going? Have you been to these before? Like, you can like, you know, if someone's meekly sitting there just waiting for the rotation to finish and you just go up with, do you know why the skeleton came alone to the speed date? I don't know. I feel like it would be, again, hit or miss.
Okay.
Anyway.
In discussion of your, you potentially doing a Brooklyn accent.
Sure.
Sophie is not a question, it's a comment. She says,
okay.
I just finished watching Gibby's video from today, Sunday, and your lines as Clifford are incredible. Fire emojis.
Thank you, Sophie.
Do you remember doing these? Because it was like literally weeks ago.
The bunny, right?
Yes, when Clifford talked about, I am a bunny.
Yeah.
What was your experience recording those lines for Clifford?
What? Head empty, do accent, do motivation.
Did I
receive direction from Gibby?
Did I explain to you Clifford's motivation? What was going on? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how much is spoilers for your stuff and how much I should.
I genuinely don't remember what I told you. But yeah, no, he's being mind controlled by the bunny ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole thing you read off, the I am one with being a bunny, that's a quote from one of the FNAF books when he gets mind controlled by bunny ears.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
now I am a FNAF person.
Yes, you did the Clifford voice.
Unwittingly.
She goes on to say, I just want to say thank you for voicing him. It's really cool and fun hearing you in other corners of YouTube. Other people in the live chat are asking who voices Clifford, so it's not just me enjoying it.
Wow, thanks. Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
You're not proud of your performance? A lot of people were like, whoa, who's Clifford? Because you've never appeared on that channel before. They don't know you.
I don't know. Pride is such a weird thing, you know? I'm flattered. I'm honored. I thank you. And I thank the other people that I don't know, I suppose. And yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm glad you liked it.
See, I think that's a good response. I kind of a related topic. I have a big long list of just things to talk about in general that we never get to. And so that kind of segues into one of them. Do you want to go down that path?
I guess. I don't know what path we're taking. But...
So you just said, like, oh, pride's a weird thing because someone complimented your performance.
Sure, yeah. Let's roll with that.
So one of the things that I hear people say a lot is that creating art or doing a performance or whatever is a way of expressing yourself. And I have never, not once, ever thought of it that way. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to go make this thing to express myself. Like, I'm not entirely even sure I know what that means. Like, when I make something, it's because I think it's good or I would like doing it. I'm never doing it to, like, again, I don't even know what express yourself means. Like,
So this isn't an art thing. This is you not knowing. You know the phonetic alphabet, but you don't know expressing yourself.
Like in school, right? You'll hear like express yourself, and what that means is like if you come from a disadvantaged community, then you should like rap about it. That's my knowledge of what expressing yourself means. That's what I was told in 4th grade. It's like we're gonna read this
Okay.
We're gonna read this poem from this guy who was like in the Holocaust or whatever, and he's expressing himself. Or like, oh, the jazz and blues music were expressions of something. Or, you know, Picasso's paintings were weird because he was depressed, right? Like that's like expressing yourself. You know, rap music because, you know, it's the early 2000s, and so teachers are like, rap isn't like scary anymore like it was in the 90s, and so the teachers are like, oh, the kids are hipping into this, so we should talk about it. They're like, rap is an expression of like the culture, and I'm like, okay, I understand. But like, what is SpongeBob an expression of? What is what is like, I don't know, other things. I don't think anything. My videos, my books, like anything I've made is like an expression of myself because I don't know what that means.
Okay, so in the context of SpongeBob, I think there's a difference between expressing yourself, the individual, and a company trying to make money. I don't know, you've never, like, wrote in a journal?
I kept a dream journal for a while, but no. Like a diary type thing? No.
Yeah, like a diary type thing.
No.
You never,
Although, arguably, our group chat is my diary.
Lols. You never, I don't know, made art?
But I made lots of art.
For the all right, when what about like in school, right? You were in art class or whatever, and you had to like paint, right? And the paint colors were up to you. You got to pick the paints you used to paint whatever thing. And then you chose the colors. This happened? Yes? No? Maybe?
No. I painted flowers and a still life vase, which I guess is still just flowers, and a sheet, a cloth sheet.
You painted a cloth sheet?
It was like charcoal. No. I
I
don't
see.
recall doing anything like that. Either way, I don't think that me being like, I'm going to put yellow over here is an expression of, like, my identity or something.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be entirely but like I would say the entire color selection you used, right? If you're using like only black and gray and you're like, I hate the world, and then it's being reflected in your koi fish that you painted in school, and then you're like, whoa. But if you're using bright, cheery colors, because actually it's a magic koi fish that can walk on land, and so you painted yellow and green, and you made the fins into legs. I don't know.
I think if I wanted to express something like I hate the world, I would make like a little smudgy, black, amorphous blob in the center of an all-white canvas. And it would be like, I am surrounded by others who are not like me. Like, that would be an expression of I hate the world. The thing is, I don't hate the world, so, like, how is that expressing myself?
I mean, that was just an example. You can express your not hatred of the world.
But I guess what I'm saying is, like, I can create a piece of art that in my mind expresses the thought of I hate the world, or the feeling of hating the world, and yet that is not how I feel. So if I were to create that piece of art and someone said, oh, this is a great self-expression, I'd be like, no, it's not, actually. It's just a good piece of art. It makes you feel the way it's intended to make you feel, but that's not how I feel.
Sure. Well, then, I mean, that's... You would have to figure out how you feel and then make a thing to express that.
It's like being a sad clown. You're like, I'm sad, but I make other people happy, so it's not an expression of yourself. Basically, what I'm not getting is when people say that art is self-expression. Because I disagree.
I think there's a bit of like what you choose to make, right? Like you didn't have to pick FNAF as an example, but you picked a horror thing that interested you, and that does say something, because you could have just as easily went, not enough people talk about Picasso.
Well,
and you could have analyzed his art.
My 9-hour FNAF video is the 20th episode of my Absurd series, where I've previously talked about giant burning straw goats and a weird guy on 4chan who was convinced that basically the plot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was real and there's aliens who play card games to like decide the fate of wars, but in his thing they played Magic the Gathering, and so he thinks that real Magic the Gathering cards are real magic. And I made a video about Merlogic, the guy who's in love with Wonder Bread, and I made a video about an underwater hamster city, and I made a video about a weird database that tracks the religion of every single comic book character. Like, the expression is that I like absurd things or really intricate fictional worlds. But I wouldn't say, like, oh, FNAF, it's an expression of, like you said, horror, right? It's like, that's not really something I feel. I don't know.
I mean, then you would just... we can do this on the podcast if you want, or we cannot. But you would just have to dive into the things that make you feel things.
But I guess what I'm saying is that the things I end up making aren't reflections. I could, if you want, if I tasked myself, I'm going to make an expression of myself in a piece of art, I could do that.
Yes.
I'm just saying I don't do that when I make art.
Right.
So for someone to say art is self-expression, I just be like, well, no, it's not. I disagree, because I can think of a lot of examples that aren't, and including almost all of my own.
Mm-hmm. Shrug. I mean, there are art also makes money, so it's hard to explicitly be like, well, this obviously means all of this one thing or two things or whatever, or must come from this deep recesses in your heart. I mean, sure, some things just exist for whatever other purpose.
Yeah,
but in the way that, like, the execution of the pun is the point, I think that could also be case of this art, right? The art that you've made, the content you've made is maybe not like you're in the deep recesses of your heart, but you still made the thing and chose to execute it a certain way.
Yes, and I would say, because I've said before that I think that like the art that you enjoy and the art that you make is a better expression of yourself than like words could be. But for me, that's more of like an almost subconscious thing, right? Like, so when I said like, oh, if I wanted to express I hate the world, it would be a smudgy black amorphous blob in the middle of an all white canvas, right? So someone could be like, oh, that's because when you think of hatred, you think of being alone, right? You equate hating the world with feeling alone, but there's a lot of people who hate the world who don't feel alone. Or oh, you equate, opposites being sort of an oppressive white void, and then when you think of the thing that isn't that, you think of something that's smudgy, right? It doesn't have clear defined angles the way that the void does. It's kind of blurry and out of focus, and you can't really see it the way that the white stark contrast to that blob sticks out in your vision. Or, oh, you think of it as amorphous because if it had a shape, then it could be defined, and you don't want it to be defined because when you think of loneliness, you think of something that's ill-defined. And so therefore, I have clocked you. I understand that when you think of hating other people, you think that necessarily requires separation from them. And when you think separation from something, you think it has to be indescribable. And therefore, I know that when you think hating the world, you think of loneliness and indescribable feelings of being oppressed. And I'd be like, wow, that is a good way of understanding the reason I chose this image to depict hating the world. But I still don't feel like that's the same as self-expression because I don't hate the world.
Shrug.
So I guess that's how I can simultaneously believe that art is the deepest expression of who you are more than words, but also that it's not expressing yourself.
I shrug.
Okay.
I think to an extent, maybe you just overthink it.
Me overthinking things?
I know it never happens before and hasn't since, but
let me tell you something I overthought as a child.
Okay.
Did your school, because we did not go to the same elementary school, you were in elementary school in a different state actually. Did your elementary school participate in the Banana Splits program?
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of the Banana Splits?
Correct.
Okay, so there's probably a lot of people listening to this who haven't either. So Banana Splits is a thing where in the middle of the school day, someone would come and they'd be like, hey, kid, like, you're going to the cafeteria. They pull kids out of class to go to the cafeteria or the gym or something. And they were doing Banana Splits. And what Banana Splits is it's kind of like a therapy thing for children whose parents are divorced. So the kids are there. And they give them banana splits because like kids like ice cream. And then all the kids whose parents are divorced can like sit in a big circle and like talk about how they feel. And like the parents are like there. So it's like, oh, mommy and daddy don't get along, but they'll come to the school for the ice cream so you can see them together. And like it's a safe place because you're at a school, they're going to start fighting and arguing. Although sometimes maybe they don't, or only one parent's there, or neither parents are there. It's basically like group therapy for children of divorce in elementary schools. So my thought upon like learning, because my parents didn't get divorced until I was in middle school, so I was not involved in any of these. But my thought was always like, what a weird, and maybe you had this thought too upon hearing this for the first time. What a weird theme.
Banana Splits.
Yeah, like what is the deeper? I tried to figure it out. What is the deeper meaning? Why did they say? You know what children who are going through tough times because their parents split is? Let's give them banana splits. I'm like, what? But is it a joke? Is it meant to be like dark humor? Did you have that thought too?
No, I didn't even put together the banana splits. As if your parents are splitting apart. That's insane.
Yeah, I would have been like 7 in like second grade, and someone would have been like, yeah, like I'd be like, oh, where's he going? They're like, oh, he's going to have banana splits with his divorced parents because that's what the program's called. And I was like, oh, that's kind of messed up.
No, I didn't even catch that. No, I was just thinking, yeah, you give them ice cream because children want ice cream.
Yeah, so I Googled it. And yeah, it's just that. It's just for giving kids ice cream because they like ice cream. And I'm like, but did you... Okay, so the pun isn't intentional.
It went over their heads.
But did you see the pun when you came up with it?
No.
And did anyone along the line
didn't.
point it out to you?
Because that is kind of an overthinky thing, I think.
I think that... I mean, again, I did when I was like 7, but I'm like, I think that most people would hear that and might raise a question. A concern.
I don't know, man.
That got all the way through planning phases.
Because when someone hears a banana split, they think ice cream. They don't go, my parents are getting divorced actually, and the divorce of my parents is actually the banana that's in my ice cream because they're split.
I'd remember...
They just go, ice cream, yeah.
I just remember thinking,
ice
like,
cream.
Okay, because when you think of banana split, you think of one of those, like, ovular bowls of ice cream, and there's, like, a banana in the middle, and it's, like, split down like a hot dog, and it's got, like, you know, syrup and stuff. And I remember thinking, like, okay, I'm imagining the kid, and, like, he's sitting across from, like, his estranged parent, and he, like, they cut the banana in half, and they give half of it to the one, like, to the mother, and then half to the father. He's, like, splitting the banana, like, they split their child. And I'm just like, why would they willingly create this image? And it wasn't until I was older that I was like, maybe it wasn't on purpose. And I Googled it and it wasn't, which is also baffling. But yeah, no, that's overthinking. Also, me being upset that I never got to go there because my parents didn't get divorced until the year after elementary school.
That's where I thought this was going, is you getting salty of like, why couldn't you get divorced sooner?
Yeah, so I didn't even get ice cream. Yeah, I'll have to ask my mother and my younger brother, because he would have been in elementary school. I'll ask them if it happened. I don't think that they ever participated, but I'll ask my mother. She must be aware that it was a thing, and be like, did you ever think the theming was ill-conceived? Then make it milkshake hour!
No, hey, little Timmy, you gotta go to banana splits. You gotta split from class. That was his most... hey, little Timmy, you gotta go to milkshake hour. What? I
don't know. I didn't... It was a pun? Or I guess it wasn't a pun. It was a pun I did not appreciate and think it was like... It was stupid. People should have thought better.
Shrug.
You're not a fan of bananas, right? Are you?
I'm not. I would have thrown that banana to someone else.
I believe your exact quote when we were discussing bananas at one time was, why would I eat a banana? When you eat a banana, all you're left with is a stinky mouth and a stinky trash can.
Yeah, it sounds like something I would say. I don't. Yeah.
I like bananas.
You like bananas?
I do like bananas.
I'm so sorry for you.
I think
I'm sorry you feel you have to like bananas.
Well, I don't know how we're ever gonna...
There's more out there for you.
I don't know how we're ever gonna get over this split in our opinions. Maybe we should call the episode here before we get divorced. I think we were talking about banana.
I think it's already happening.
I think we were talking about banana opinions. It's time to end it.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Enjoy your ice cream.
Split off and see you later.
But when is later? Because time?
Well, it's when they have to come back for their banana split session.
Oh, no.